All right, good morning, gang. We're live from Fly on the Wall Productions. 100% organic. Paul Brodie. Did you know that?
This show is 100% organic?
100%.
Huh.
There's no additives, fillers, byproducts, nitrates, none of that shit.
Free range and pasture bred and all that?
Completely. Real, raw, relevant, relatable. Sometimes. And this is the you talk about the four agreements. Those are the 4 R's right there.
Right.
Sometimes there's a 5th R that I add to real, raw, relevant, and relatable. And that 5th, do you know what it is?
Rattling the microphone?
No.
Oh, that's my
No,
addition
that's
right now.
that's your thing.
I'm going to say regret.
No, but thank you. I was going to say responsible. And
that's a better one.
Which is sometimes. And that's what I say. I always say sometimes responsible.
Right.
Because who's responsible 100% of the time? Liars.
We are responsible 100% of the times, but who's owning the responsibility 100% of the time?
Right.
That would be less. I'd say sometimes.
We're at 41 degrees right now and cloudy. Another day, possibly with some rain.
Yeah. It was drizzling a little bit on the way in.
Which is good. We need it. I think the sun comes out a little bit tomorrow. And, yeah. We have a lot to talk about this morning. And, of course, you and I, we don't script out what we're going to say, where we're going to go, what we're going to do. But I want to own up to something that happened yesterday. We talk about, I say sometimes responsible. Yesterday, I don't think I was very responsible on the airwaves. And I'll tell you why here in a second. We'll get into it. But I have said to you over the last couple of weeks, off the air, that I have found myself getting into trouble over the last, I don't know, it seems like over the last couple of months with assumptions, both in the personal life, the professional life, just making assumptions. What narratives I'm drawing in my mind sometimes are accurate and sometimes they're not accurate. Yesterday, I started my day with some news that was frustrating to me, where it was brought to my attention that there was someone in our community that was posting signs, actual physical signs in the community, around our community, that was attacking someone and their character, and that I found that to be quite frustrating because I know this particular individual, and it is my very strong assumption that this person was wrongly accused of that. And I've also known this person for a very long time, and I know a lot about this individual, and I'm not going to say who it is because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I mean, I thought about it yesterday. I was like, you should just say who it was and what it was. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter if you say it. It doesn't matter if you don't say it.
Because I think that if I say specifically who it was and what it was about, I think that will dilute the message that you and I are.
Well, yeah, because people's biases will perk up.
Correct.
Yeah. So you're right. So
I just
matters a little bit.
I know things about this individual that are behind the scenes where I have witnessed this person over 25 years or maybe even longer do wonderful things for people in our community as an unsung hero, someone who does not want any attention for the good things that they have done for numerous people, just the people that I know. So it hit a nerve with me. It hit a hot button, just as it would if anyone else that I know that does many great things for people and that I've witnessed. and has never sought out any attention for it. I would take defense of anyone that I know that's like that. So I got hot. And yesterday on the air, I was, I guess, throughout the show, maybe a little warm or just a little off. It just kind of threw me a little bit. And I was pretty warm. And at the very end of yesterday's podcast, what I did was wrong, and I should have gone about it a completely different way. What someone had done in the community made it to Facebook, and it made it to a page that is a local community, Barrie City relevant Facebook page, which is, and I understand that Facebook is a public forum. It's a public medium, and it made it to the page. And the way that I took that was, we jumped to conclusions so quickly, and I'm just as guilty as anyone else that can do that. And yesterday I was guilty. My assumption is that the administrators of that page either A, posted that picture up, or B, was aware that the picture was posted up and left it there. I was wrong on both accounts. And when the administrators of this page discovered what was going on, they made the right decision and they removed it. I didn't. This was all kind of happening in real time. I didn't really realize this. Raylene was attempting to kind of tap the brakes a little bit and tell me that it was removed. But I still felt like, well, it never should have been on there in the first place. And if someone has a page where people can freely post anything, it seems like they'll use that as an opportunity to hit that platform to promote something that's bad or to trash talk somebody.
That's what Facebook is.
Well, exactly. And we're probably, Mark Zuckerberg is watching and listening right now. He's probably going to shut us down because you said that.
He's a fan of ours. He likes us.
Yeah, but you said that, so that's going to piss off because you're
assuming.
He knows. You're assuming that Mark is,
Mark doesn't take things personally.
You're assuming.
I'm assuming he doesn't take things personally.
I'm assuming that Mark's watching right now.
He is watching.
So
they're always watching.
So I I asked at the end of my podcast yesterday, does anyone know these two individuals?
Yeah.
Which is the two individuals are local people.
They're friends of mine.
They're friends of yours.
If
they're
you had,
they're the administrators.
If you had seen this post 2 years ago or whatever when that page first started, I was one of the administrators on that.
All right, so I would have been asking for your head.
You would have seen that and you would have flipped your lid, but you probably would have immediately texted me and said, "What are you doing with this page, bro?"
Right.
And I would have said, "I don't know, what's going on?" You said, "There's this post." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let me go see that." "Oh, all right, we'll take it down."
Right.
Actually, I'd probably leave it up. I'm not into censorship.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, Paul. I'm not into censorship either, but it's disturbing to me.
I didn't see it, so I don't even know. I mean, you told me what it was, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the post looked like, so I guess I don't know. Maybe because there was when we first. That's why I'm not an admin anymore.
Right.
After a while, I told Josh, I'm like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
It was he wanted to put something together that allowed that created a sense of cohesion in the community. That was the whole purpose of this page.
Sure.
He'd seen it in Williamstown. It was great. People were posting all these, and people do that. I look at that thing. I got it on my feed every once in a while. I see it. People are posting jobs, looking for work, looking for help with something, and all kinds of great stuff is going on there. occasionally there's somebody that comes on there and says something obnoxious.
Right.
But initially when we posted the thing, we were getting people posting things obnoxious, fighting about stuff, saying, "Oh, this person shouldn't say this thing." And I'm like, "Well, they didn't say anything wrong."
Yeah.
And it's like you just don't get so sensitive about it or whatever. So I said, "You know what? I'm not cut out for this. Take me off. I'm too much dangerous freedom kind of guy." But and Josh was telling me that just recently he'd like to have somebody else take over the page. He's excited about the what has become. He thinks that's really cool that it's something he created led to that. Nothing to do with him, and he knows that. But it's just like, he created it. He's the one that took the steps to make it. And he put it in place, and it did become the thing that he wanted it to be. And so of course, there's going to be a dark side to it as well. I mean, look at the internet; everything has that. Right? Sure. So, but as soon as he became aware of it, he took it off. And then you come in here full of venom and full name him.
I was.
I heard it, and what?
I was, and I was wrong, and I want to apologize to Josh and Catherine. I apologized to them yesterday. And I told him, I said, I'd love to apologize to you face to face, but I guess he's not in Vermont right now. But I fucked up, and
well, dude.
Well,
listen, you didn't from your perspective. You got emotional. You defended your friend.
Right.
You just assumed that the person whose name was at the top of the page was responsible for it, and they weren't.
That was the assumption.
And then they did as best they could. I mean, you can't monitor 24 hours a day. And it's either you hold every post for monitoring. That's the way these things work.
Right.
But when you sign up for the group, they always ask you, like, here's the group rules, or I promise not to post anything
that's
slanderous or harmful, whatever. Yeah,
slanderous. Yeah, right.
And so whoever posted the original post violated their group terms.
Yeah.
So you want to go an extreme step? Well, I guess they can get kicked out of the group or whatever.
Sure.
Give them a community strike or something like that. But even you get community strikes on Facebook, they still let you back on and put you in jail for a week, where people call it Facebook jail.
Sure.
So this is the process we go in. The real issue is you.
Yes. Well, I understand. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
Well, no, you already. I mean, we've already talked about this. You already said it to me.
Hit
but
me.
it's just like you became personally offended by this.
Yes.
And so you took it personally.
I did.
And your name wasn't mentioned anywhere, and it had nothing to do with you.
Right.
So then why are you going to that length? And you explain that to me. It's your friend, and you respect him, and you don't want him seen that way.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not saying he's God, but we're all God in some way. But like people always say, well, God doesn't need your defense.
I hate the accusatory. And you said, well, it comes right back to you did exactly what you were upset about. You're accusing somebody.
Right. Right. Yeah. You're like,
I did the
hey,
same
you can't say that about that person. And I heard you saying that about him. And I said, you can't say that about that person. But I don't know. I was surprised to hear you in that kind of attitude.
I'm sorry. I was an asshat with a capital A. And what can I say? I'm sorry.
Nothing else. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. You're taking responsibility. You recognize you got emotionally reactive.
Yes.
And then you dealt with it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there's some stress in
these fucking microphones.
Well, this is with great power comes great responsibility, right?
They're dangerous.
Voltaire.
These things are dangerous.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to, I have to try as hard as I can to be as responsible with them as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, I was not. I love to be, as you know.
Mm-hmm. That's why it was it seemed so out of character. Like the way you said that.
Yeah.
You said that. I mean, it wasn't even anything like
I didn't even realize that what I was saying was kind of.
When I was listening to it live, I didn't realize. Like I didn't notice you were off the whole show or anything like that. You seemed fine. You seemed normal to me. But then that end, you're just like, let me end it with this, and then you're like, these two people, and the way you said their names, and then the fact that I recognized the names, and then I wasn't paying attention to how you were saying it in the moment. You're like, it's the end, so I stopped kind of paying attention, and then I heard names I recognized. I said, wait a second,
this is a classic example.
But then I went back and listened to it later to see if there's something earlier in the show that I'd missed that would give me insight as to why you were calling them out, and I couldn't find anything. But then when I listened to it a second time, I was really surprised at the way. You had said it.
I should have
out of character for
I
you.
I should have tapped my own brakes. I should have regrouped, and I should have reached out to Josh and Catherine directly?
Yeah, that was my comment to him when we were speculating about, because he tried to get a hold of you and hadn't heard back yet, and speculating what this could be about. And he said, well, there's some posts on Facebook this morning that once I became alerted to them, I deleted them. Maybe it has something to do with that. And I said, all right. And I said, well, if he sees, I mean, he saw your names on Facebook.
Yeah.
And if you see someone's name on Facebook, it's usually a link. All you got to do is click it.
Sure.
But you didn't.
No, I didn't.
You assumed that they were guilty, and
I did.
decided to use your power of the microphone to call them out in Berry City.
And I was
and you did it
100% wrong.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well, it's not all right.
Well, Josh is a student of the 4 agreements.
Yes, he is.
So?
Yes, he is. Should have reached out to him directly.
We're all learning from this.
Fucking pissed, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Because you're not okay inside.
Oh, here we go! Here we go!
Well, tell me, why did you think that calling them out like that was going to make you better or make you feel better? Like, how was that going to help?
I wasn't thinking it's going to make me
feel. You weren't thinking.
I wasn't thinking, of course. But
you were feeling.
I was feeling.
You were strictly feeling.
Yeah, it was 100% heart, no head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Body,
Yes.
no spirit.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is fine. We all do this. That's the thing. It's like, I'm not trying to sit here and go, JD, this is how you did it wrong. I'm not. I'm sitting here with you on the same level. We're both experiencing this together.
I did it transparently for all to see and hear.
Yes. It's a perfect, wonderful learning opportunity for us.
The show is called Aired Out, Paul. Come on.
Eventually, you had to find something to air out.
Yes.
You couldn't just...
My own shit.
You had to air it out someday. No, it's a fantastic example of this stuff. All the stuff that we've been talking about, you and I have been talking about,
Right.
but an event happened. You got emotionally responsive to it. You didn't stop. You didn't take that time to think about it before you created the story. You created the story that said, this guy is responsible for harming my friend.
100% right.
And because as soon as you could put blame on it, well, then there's a face, there's a name, there's something you can do about it now. Remember, Michael Singer says you don't need to do anything about it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
You felt a disturbance in your environment, and you said, I'm going to fix this. And you can't.
Yes.
So he talks about the mind being like a bird who's forgotten how to fly, and he's sitting on the water, so he doesn't realize he can just fly away, but he's sitting there, and when the water gets choppy, he's uncomfortable, and he's scared he's going to drown, and then when the water's calm, he's fine.
Yeah.
And that's your mind.
That was fascinating to hear about.
And so that bird, when the water starts getting choppy, he has to figure something out to stop it. He wants to calm it out.
Right.
He wants to, so you could be your environment, could be your mind. You want to make it better. You want to fix it. And so he starts doing whatever he can. And so he starts flapping his wings.
Right.
And he's splashing the water, and he's making it more choppy.
Exactly.
And his effort to make it better is making it worse.
Right.
And he doesn't realize that. And then at some point the water calms, and because he starts singing or chirping or something, or looking a certain way, and the water calms, and he thinks, oh, that's what did it.
Yes.
And then he creates this weird world where he has some control over his environment, and he doesn't.
It's amazing.
And so we I don't know. That's going off the.
No. I was listening to that. Yeah. I was listening to it.
It's a good analogy.
It was fantastic. Michael Singer is amazing.
Yeah. But we try to fix things. It was in Taoism with the water, distilled water. You have a little puddle, and you grab a stick and stir up the dirt in it, and it becomes murky and cloudy and dirty.
Sure.
And then how do you clear that water?
Right.
It's nothing you can do to clear it.
Right.
Nothing at all you can do to clear it. You have to just let it clear itself. That's just by stillness.
Right.
And so we're like that too sometimes. There's nothing. If we feel that there's chaos around us,
sure,
we get into it. I have to do something. Don't. When you try to do something, you're going to make it worse.
There's a lot of contentious vibe in our community right now.
No. My face muscles feel weird. I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to do this.
It's because you're getting tense, Paul.
Makes for good TV. I don't know what it is.
There's folks in our community that are there's a lot of polarization going on, politically, and otherwise. I'm not going to go into the
politically justifies enough of it.
Right.
That's enough of it.
Now I'm almost scared.
Just don't say names.
Yeah, right. Do you think Josh and Catherine will come in here and sit down with me and call me an asshat face to face?
I don't think they'll call you that. But
why? What if I
think they'd be happy to come in and sit and talk with you.
Why
sometime.
wouldn't they come and call me an asshat?
Because you're not.
I was an asshat yesterday, Paul. Don't say I wasn't. I was.
Okay, in that moment. In that moment, you made a decision to do something that wasn't appropriate. No, it just wasn't well advised. Yeah, justified, whatever. Right. Yeah, you made an assumption. You made an ass out of yourself and him.
Oh,
that's what Mr. Peeney, my 7th and 8th grade, my middle school social science teacher. That's what first time I'd ever heard that. When you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and me, or when you assume.
Yeah.
And I always remembered him for that.
Yeah.
Great guy. But yeah, so yeah, you did a thing that you regret. You acted out of ignorance. As soon as you became aware,
Totally.
you fixed it.
Yeah.
So you stopped being an asshat when you stopped persisting in that. If you had continued in that regard and said, and when he reached out to you
Sure.
and said, what's going on, and you said, oh, you shouldn't have done that thing you did. He said, well, I didn't do anything. Oh, you're responsible for it anyway. It's your page. You need to know what's going on that
Sure.
page. Well, I took it down as soon as I knew about it. Oh, it's not good enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you'd have done that, then okay, you're persisting in it.
Yes.
But you didn't.
Right.
As soon as you became aware that, oh, I was wrong,
Yes.
you made amends.
And I was running around all day yesterday, so I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to chat with Josh until much later. So
Yeah, and I think that increased the stress a little bit for some people that didn't.
I know.
But that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
That's all good. We can't immediately be available all the time for everything. You got things to do. But
Lesson learned. A good
yeah.
one though. Yesterday.
yeah, we all get to learn a lesson from it.
Yeah.
But
And then I went home last night and was assuming that Sherilyn was talking about something different that I thought she was talking about.
You just couldn't get out of your system.
God, it was all over the place. I was like, well, you're assuming that I blah, 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 blah. No, I never said that, but you implied that.
Mm-hmm. And then you turned on your favorite show, The Bachelor. I mean, our favorite show, The Bachelor.
Thank you.
And you're making assumptions about all the
Horrible.
whoever was on that thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And American Idol too. I make assumptions on that show too, Paul.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Wow.
It's got to stop.
It stops with you.
Oh.
It's over. It's already over.
Yeah.
See, but I love these kind of moments when you can actually learn from it
Yes.
rather than persist in it.
Right.
If next week you're doing the same thing, if you don't catch yourself sooner, well then that's
Spank me.
you.
Spank
Yeah,
me.
okay.
How's your podcast going? I'm sorry I missed you last Thursday.
It's all good. We just talked about all kinds of crazy things. There's probably all the kind of stuff that we shouldn't say.
Plug it. What's the name of the podcast?
Just saying things.
Just saying things,
Yeah.
and we find
And
it where?
that's our justification for not researching or doing anything responsible with our show. We just say whatever's on top of our minds.
Well, that's good though.
But it's all fine. I mean, it's just opinions. All it is opinions, and people don't have to like opinions. You don't
Yeah.
have to agree with it.
Right.
You don't even have to listen to it. It's your choice. There's so many
Sure.
different places you can go for opinions. You got your own. I got mine. We don't have to share them. We can share them. We shouldn't have to. We shouldn't be afraid of sharing them. That's the
Yes.
thing. And so I'll fight for that. I think that we should be free, feel free to share whatever our opinion is, even if someone doesn't like it.
Right.
I mean, so that's where I'm kind of on the fence with this thing that you're talking about that you saw yesterday. Because, yeah, it's calling somebody out specifically, which I guess, again, it's if somebody put lawn signs up around town saying that I did something I didn't do,
Right. I'd be pissed.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, I don't care. I didn't do it. If I did, I might be upset. Now they're calling me out. How did they know I did that? Or, I might get defensive. Probably the only way I'm going to defend. This is the thing. I think that we take things personally when we already have personally judged ourselves that way.
Yeah.
If you call me stupid and I already have this mindset that I'm so stupid I can't do anything right, and then you say, "Hey, stupid," I'm going to take that one personally, more personally than if you say, your legs are skinny and you look like a little child.
Yes.
And I'd say, okay, well, I don't care. I don't judge myself in that way.
Right.
I already know that's true. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But so it's like if you're judging yourself about the thing, that's when it's personal to you.
Right.
You're more likely to get all up in that. But if you're not judging yourself, then whatever anybody says, you realize it's just something to do with them. So if somebody wants to put, someone was saying something about me years ago, and I didn't agree with it. It wasn't true, and so it was, I was like, it was concerning that it was being said, but I confronted people who I'd heard that it was coming from and said, this didn't happen, so what are you doing? But it didn't, I don't know, it didn't necessarily offend me. It was concerning.
Yeah.
That, so like I could see how this could be concerning, but the person doesn't seem to be as concerned as you were about it. So that's something that.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
But I don't know. But yeah, and so like if somebody said, put signs up saying I did something that, slandering me, you said you'd be upset about it. I wouldn't.
Huh.
So why are you upset about it?
Because I know you're a great guy.
Or whatever.
And I know all the...
You've got an opinion about me. You have a belief about me, and it ran against your belief. And so you've attached to these beliefs, and that's what it comes down to. I don't have a belief about myself that whatever they're saying.
Wow.
So you have a belief that this person that you're talking about is a good person. And because you're attached to that belief on a pretty deep level, this indicates
Yes.
that you say, well, that's not true. That can't be true. And this is what happens with all this politics stuff. And so there's the people who are putting those signs up, they have the opposite opinion of you. But yours is based on 25 years of experience of friendship. Theirs is based on rumor and hearsay. Perhaps. We don't know. We don't know who made the signs.
Sure.
But unless that person comes out and says, well, I made the signs. I've known this guy for 50 years. And he is one of these,
Right.
I don't know.
Yes, right.
But but it still comes down to opinion, and then how much you attach to the belief about this person. So the person making the signs, they believe so strongly in what they were saying
that they
for
would
whatever
take
reason.
that they would take the time out of their life.
They took the time
to make
and the effort,
yard
they went out
yard
and posted
signs.
them. Yeah. Why? What do they get out of that? What is the personal benefit to them for getting that? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
But they've got some belief in their mind that this guy is a criminal.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Right.
Probably because of some kind of beliefs that person holds, and they know what that person's beliefs are, and they disagree with them.
Right.
And so they say, well, if he believes that, then he's not good. And so they got this internalized belief that by this person existing with their way of doing things, it's harming me in some way. But it's not. But they have a belief that it is. And so when somebody challenges our beliefs, we get upset.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
When the shit hits the fan next time, I'm calling your ass.
Call me first thing. Call me. I wish you would have yesterday. Could have saved all this hassle. But then we wouldn't have this awesome time to talk about it today.
Well, that's true.
We could have talked about it yesterday, but we wouldn't be here on the air.
And I have to say, it was also embarrassing for me.
Yeah.
It really was.
Sure.
And you talk about censorship. No, I'm not going to go back and snip out what I said yesterday. I'm just not going to do that. And it is what it is.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night. I was thinking, the easiest thing would just be dump that whole recording, because the issue and this I don't think it's necessary in this case. But the problem is that you said it on that episode. If someone doesn't watch today's episode, then they hear it in their mind that those two people sound accused of something bad.
Interesting.
And they didn't do anything. So if somebody doesn't watch today's episode,
you know what?
They don't get that follow up.
Would it be the right thing to say we'll leave that up to Josh?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, it's his name.
Of course.
Because I've seen this happen. I've had people talk to me
Catherine.
about it. Yeah. You could go in and just cut off that last minute.
I could.
But I don't know how easy it is to cut off a minute and then re-upload the video or whatever.
Don't know.
Actually, there might be a way. Pete Johns, I think, was showing how to edit videos segments after they've been posted. But I'm not saying you have to do it, because it's
if he wants me to, I certainly will.
But the Times Argus has done this to people a lot, and I'm now I'm naming them. I don't, but they're a newspaper, so I can't. Right. But people, they post, they'll print articles about people who have been arrested and charged with something. Now, charged and convicted are two different things.
Sure. Sometimes
it's nonsense. Sometimes it's political nonsense. Sometimes a person is arrested for a thing and they're charged for something less, even though they did the thing. But in order to get a plea deal, to get them out, whatever, to move things along in the court system, they'll say, okay, you did this activity, but we're going to charge it as this, which is less, and your record won't look as bad or whatever.
Right.
So sometimes the charge or the conviction is less than the charge, but sometimes you get a whole bunch of charges that never happened. That happens sometimes. For whatever reason, I don't know, I'm not there in the moment, but for whatever reason, a person collects a whole bunch of charges and they don't stick, they say. Why? Because there's no evidence of it. So for whatever, is it an assumption in the moment? Is it a safety net? Whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's honestly believed and it just proves out, the evidence doesn't prove out or whatever. But so sometimes people get charged with something and then they don't actually get convicted of it because there's no evidence to suggest they did it. Whether they did it or not, that's up to them. But if there's no evidence to convict, then maybe a retraction should go into the newspaper. And sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. And that's the kind of situation we're talking about here. So you've got a person who there's a story, you can go Google their name and a story comes up saying that they did this thing, they were arrested for these counts, and then they didn't get charged with any of them, or they didn't get convicted of any of them. So then you go back and 5 years later, you read that story and they've got all these charges, and people will draw conclusions from that. And so somebody's, they go to get a job and someone searches them on Google, and then they read this article about they got 15 charges, including all kinds of horrendous things, but maybe they never got convicted of any of those things. So they don't have a criminal record, but this person, based off of this newspaper article that's still hanging out there in the internet, is now being discriminated against.
Yeah.
Which
in print. Yeah.
If that happens, it happens. So I don't know. Don't take it personally. But is there? I guess the question comes down to, it's not about censorship at that point is about responsibility of,
Yes.
of the publication. You know, if
Sure,
we
of
publish
course.
something and we find out later that it's true, that it's not true,
Yeah.
do we have a responsibility to remove it, or do we just go, well, that
Yeah,
was then, this is now? I don't know.
I said to Josh, I'm like, I'm sorry that that you took it that way, that it was accusatory, and I didn't. I knew I was hot, but I didn't really realize
Yeah.
until I went back and
Right.
listened to it myself. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's right. You did sound like you were making him out to be a criminal.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, hey, does anybody know these people?
Right.
I want to chat with them about something. It was, we're going to talk about this thing, and then she's like, no, it's already gone. You're like, nah, I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah, right, right, exactly. And
Here's these names.
No,
We want to talk to them. Bring them in.
Like I said, Raylene was trying to tap the brakes on it and reel me back, and she tried, and yeah. And I'll also say this about Raylene is, our page is not similar to Josh's page,
Right.
where people can just post.
Yeah, so I can't go on there and post something on your page.
Yeah, you can't
Right.
post anything you want.
Yep.
However, that would scare the shit out of me, by the way. I just wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't.
Well, and that's not the purpose of your page. Your page is to promote a
Right.
specific product
Right.
or service. And the Berry City Facebook chat page is not that. It's the purpose of the only reason it works is because people can freely post on there.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a team of admins who are on there being able to approve every post in real time. Because some people are like, we just found this dog on this street and this street.
Sure.
Is anybody missing their dog?
Doing a good thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And most of the stuff on there is that.
Yeah, of course. Oh, of course.
And there have
is.
been
Yep.
plenty of things where there's been something that was more upsetting posted and it gets taken down, or the comment section goes a little chaotic.
Yes.
I've seen that plenty of times too.
And so the comment part of it is something that people can do freely on
Right.
Aired Out.
Right.
And Raylene is, I don't know if you've ever been around Raylene with her phone, which has got notifications going off constantly. And she is constantly monitoring Aired Out's page and comments and making certain that they're respectful, and just not accusatory, and that they're respectful and accurate, and to the best of her
See,
knowledge.
Accurate's a hard one.
Well,
Because when we're talking opinions, there's no such thing as accurate.
got it. I guess respectful
Yeah.
is mostly
Yeah.
where I'm going. Because our objective is not to get up in the morning and say, let's find a way to do something on the air or off the air on Facebook that is causing hurt and harm
Right.
and disrespect to others.
Right.
Our objective is to give information on this podcast and to also goof around and be entertaining and have fun. More than anything, have fun.
Yeah.
Talk about sports, talk about weather, talk about what's going on in the community, talk about what's going on in this incredibly fucked up world of ours, and try to put a light spin on it. Sometimes you can. I mean, that's why we say shits and giggles. I mean, sometimes you can put a fun spin on things, and sometimes you can't, depending on what's going on.
Right.
But I guess my point is that it's not our hope and desire and purpose to use Aired Out on the air or off the air to cause harm or create rumors to others. And when it appears as though that's happening somewhere else, I find that to be quite frustrating.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about that.
And there's not. I understand.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about that. You're absolutely right.
The storm's going to rage outside of the house, but you're inside the house.
Right.
It's your house, and you're the only one in there, so keep
And
it safe.
it also baffles me that someone could take time out of their life to create a yard sign.
Have you seen politics? Have you watched TV?
Yeah.
Have you seen all these things? I mean,
Yeah.
look at all these.
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, slander's the way they do it, and that's every primary, every president. I don't know if they'll have a primary. It depends on who's running. If they use their 2 front runners for the next presidential election, we won't get a primary again. But if you see the primaries again, pay attention to the candidates in the primary, how they attack each other, because they're both trying for that spot, right? They'll attack each other. They'll say awful things about each other, and then one of them gets the nomination. And then those other people who they left behind in the primaries, watch who they said terrible things about, who's the vice president, who's the secretary of defense, who's the secretary of state, who's the whatever, right? Obama did it with Clinton.
Yeah.
Biden did it with Harris. When you go to the primaries, Obama and Clinton are saying neither one of them is capable of doing the job of president.
Right.
They both say the other one is awful.
Yes.
And then Obama gets the nomination, he gets elected, and who's the secretary of state? Hillary Clinton. She was not fit for president, but she is the best secretary of state we could ever have, right? And the same thing with I don't remember who was in the primaries with Trump, but it's probably the same thing. Was Pence running against him in the primaries? Probably was. I don't know. I don't remember that one too well. But with Biden and Harris, this is the same kind of stuff. He's saying she's unfit. She's saying he's unfit. Well, guess what?
Right.
We're running mates.
Right, exactly.
6 months ago, neither one of you was qualified for this job, and now you're in it together, and she's saying he's the best, most competent president we've ever had. Well, so you know she's a liar. It's the guy's. Sadly, he seems pretty sick, and probably shouldn't be in that position. But you got to be sick to want to be in that position, I think.
I would agree with you.
And Trump and Hillary, when they were running against each other, they're both saying how he said I'm going to have her arrested and all that stuff. And he never does it. None of them follow through with their promises.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a real promise. It was nonsense. But
right.
They're best friends.
Right.
Bill and Hillary went to Don and Melania's wedding. They're best friends. That doesn't make you best friends, but they went to his wedding.
Exactly.
Right? And he's donating to all their stuff over the years because he's a Democrat supporter until he runs for Republican president. What the heck?
Is it all just a big show?
All a big show. From my perspective, it is. How can you look at it any other way? I don't know. I see these things and I go, how can it not be a show? But people don't know this stuff. Nobody's paying attention to it.
What this comes down to is who do you trust? And
nobody.
And it's who do you trust and what do you trust?
And why do you trust it? Why? Why do you believe those people?
What, why?
Yeah.
So, and this is something that, and I said to you, a week ago, I want to talk about trust.
Yeah.
On the air one of these mornings.
Yeah.
We won't go down, that's a huge rabbit hole. We won't go down it today, but at some point, I want to talk with you about trust, which is a massive word. You can easily go up to 40,000 feet and look down from the word trust. And what it is, how you earn it, how you break it, and being a victim to trust and lack thereof. Mm-hmm. There have been people in my life, all of our lives, that we've trusted who have done us wrong.
Yeah, don't take things personally. It's
But
got nothing to do with us.
But how we can sit and talk about being a victim to that for a long time. And we can tell stories, and they can be gruesome. Mm-hmm. And I believe me, I've got mine. Someday I'd love to air them out. Oh, it'd be beautiful.
When we're out in that field watching for UFOs, eating plant medicine, that's when you and I can air that out.
Is that what you're calling it?
That's what I call it.
Plant medicine?
You got to get your bell in striking distance. JD realizes he's looking for his bell. And
Paul might give me a bell moment.
I'm going to ring your bell again. The thing with trust, you can't be a victim of trust, because you have to. In order to trust someone, you have to make yourself vulnerable. You have to embrace vulnerability. You have to invite vulnerability into your life in order to trust somebody. So, if I'm going to trust that you're going to do what you say, I have to make myself vulnerable.
But if you're accepting the reality that you're making yourself vulnerable to trust someone,
I'm willingly making myself vulnerable to.
But you're also willingly allowing yourself to be the victim of that trust being broken,
No.
then how could you possibly trust someone? Then trust doesn't exist. It doesn't really ever
It's faith.
exist.
Trust is belief, or it's an opportunity.
Or is it hope?
I'll give you. Yeah,
Is it hope?
Sure. Yeah. But I believe that if you say, Paul, I'll be there to pick you up. I won't leave you stranded.
Trust me.
Trust me. I say, okay. I make myself vulnerable because if I believe the words that you said, I'm not going to align a second ride. So here I am at the bus stop in the middle of the night or on the side of the road somewhere out in Nowheresville. There's one single street light above my head, and I'm standing here with my suitcase and my umbrella. It's just a fun picture, fun image for me.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for you to come pick me up. And I didn't arrange for anything else because you said, trust me.
Sure.
So I made myself vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And now you don't show up. Am I a victim?
Yes.
Why? Of who? Who's my abuser?
You? Yes.
How?
Because you trusted me. I broke your damn trust.
So, but what did you do to me?
Forgot.
You didn't show up, right?
I forgot to
so
be there.
you didn't get there to pick me up. Okay. So what? What do I do now?
I don't know.
I start walking.
Put out your damn thumb.
Right.
And you'd be pissed at me.
Maybe. If I took it personally.
God
that
damn
JD. That JD, he didn't show up like he said he would. Now I have to walk.
Short, fat fucker.
I can't just get in a car and drive over here and pick me up. What good does that do me? This is just just remember the parable of the farmer. The horse runs away, and the neighbor says, that's terrible. And he says, maybe.
Mm.
So you come to me in that moment, and someone says, hey, what are you doing standing out here by yourself? I say, well, my friend was supposed to come pick me up, and he didn't. It's, oh, that's too bad.
Right.
Maybe. How do I know? What if you died? Let's go to the extreme. What if you didn't show up to get me because you're dead?
Yeah.
Am I going to hold a grudge against that?
Yes.
I will. If I'm you, I will.
Yeah, right.
If I'm you yesterday, I will until I know, right?
Yeah.
I might hold a grudge. I might go, that's JD. Or I might, in the moment, if I'm present enough, I'll say, well, he didn't make it here. Maybe something's wrong. Maybe something happened to him. Maybe he's the victim. I'm not a victim. I didn't get a ride. Okay.
Right.
It's inconvenient.
Sure.
Perhaps. I could have planned otherwise, but it was my choice not to plan otherwise. It was my choice. I made myself vulnerable.
Yeah.
I can't blame you for me choosing to be vulnerable. Now, we don't think about it in that context when we trust somebody. Someone says, trust me, and we think, oh, it's on them. They said, trust me, it's on them. They're responsible for this now. But it takes two to tango, but only one to bury the body.
Trust yourself. That's important.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have to make yourself vulnerable to trust yourself. But I guess having confidence in yourself is different than
But
trust,
also understand that shit happens, and there may be a reason why I didn't show up to pick you up.
Right. There could have been a good reason for it.
A valid reason.
Or there could have been a bad reason. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the reason is. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. For you, maybe it matters. If you go, oh, I forgot to pick up Paul. I hope he's okay.
Or my kid's in the hospital.
Right. Yeah. Right. If you're over there stressing about your daughter and you're thinking, oh no, Paul's sitting out on the street by himself somewhere. I was supposed to pick him up, but my daughter's sick. I have to be here for her. I don't know, whatever. But like, you might feel bad that you let me down, but I don't feel bad that you let me down because you didn't let me down.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't ask you for a ride ever again.
Right.
And that's okay. You don't need to anyway. It's not your job, right? But it's not your fault if I don't get a ride the way I ask for it.
It's so interesting. Different ways to think about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So can I call you the next time at 2 o'clock in the morning when the shit's hitting the fan?
Yeah, call me anytime.
Yeah, right.
My phone's always on. Ever since when my dad died, my phone was off, and the cops came and knocked on the door and said, your dad died. I don't want to ever repeat that experience. Because I used to turn my phone off at night because I didn't want people calling, because I'd get phone calls from people at 3:30 in the morning, which sometimes was fine. Sometimes I'm glad I did answer those calls, but occasionally I'm like, this wakes me up. I don't want to be woken up anymore. So at some point I decided I was going to turn my phone off, and so for some period of time I would turn my phone off at night. And then it was a Saturday morning, 6:30 in the morning, I get a knock on the door, and I wake up, knock on the door, what's going on? I go look out the windows, 2 police cruisers in my front yard. I was like, what is this? I'm freaking out, right? And so I go downstairs and I open the door. And you Paul Brodie? I said, yeah. And he says, oh, I'm sorry to inform you that your father passed away. Your mom was trying to get a hold of you. And I said, oh, my phone's off. So I go up. So, so ever since then, my phone's on all the time. It'll always be on all the time. That's my little experience taught me that. So my phone's always on. So you can call me at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
802-622-1022.
Wow.
Let's do it. Bring it on.
Dude, you just said that live on...
Yeah.
Do you want me to edit that out?
No, I don't care.
That's good.
I'm not concerned.
Because I don't know how to edit shit out anyways. I wanted to ask you...
If somebody is so unhappy in their life that they want to go, ooh, I'm going to call him at 3 o'clock in the morning and prank him, I don't care. My phone number's out there everywhere anyway. It doesn't matter. If someone wanted to bother me, they could bother me. So I'm not worried about that kind of stuff.
Yesterday, we had... Oh, my God. I'm just glancing through the Aired Out page here. Raylene has got so much stuff on there. Oh, my God. From the Boston Marathon to just everything.
Did you win?
Yeah, I decided this year.
You weren't going to run?
Yeah, maybe next year. I
thought maybe that's why we couldn't get a hold of you yesterday.
No, it's just...
ran down. He zipped down to Boston for a quick run.
I want to say something about the fire yesterday on
what was that one?
Route 302.
Was it the dugout, or you said it was by the dugout?
No, it was a home near the dugout, up the road from the dugout to the right, heading east. I don't know what the latest is. I'm hopeful that no one got hurt from this, but it's a horrible picture. It's of this house engulfed in flames. When I drove by last night, there were just so many cars parked all over the property, friends, family, maybe some strangers helping out these individuals. But I hope that there's something that our community can rally to do together to help these folks. This could happen to any of us. Yeah. So
I saw an article on WCAX this morning, and there's a fire in Williston that was caused by lithium-ion batteries, and so they were in the article. They're talking about the Burlington something energy something or other was encouraging people to buy electric tools and stuff, and all these battery-operated tools, and go electric, and they're doing rebates, and electric bikes and lawnmowers and everything. And then the fire chief is saying, this is great technology, but you got to be aware. If you got a damaged battery and then you put it on the charger, like you drop the battery and then you put it on the charger, potentially it can overheat and it catch fire. And the fires that come from those things are more difficult to put out and then burns forever. And so he's saying this is a great technology, but you got to be really careful.
Or if you plug it in and leave to go grocery shopping or whatever.
Yeah.
Or on vacation, you forgot that you left your lawnmower plugged in, whatever. Yeah, I know. It's amazing. Yeah. Yesterday, we posted this up. WCAX ran a story about the Stowe Rotary poking fun at the trucks, the big tractor trailers, that get stuck in Smuggler's Notch. So they created an online raffle as a fundraiser with people taking bids on when the first truck is going to get stuck in Smuggler's Notch. Creative, funny. But there was a comment last night on this that I read that I found...
And it made you upset?
No.
And you, call them out. Just go, all right, let's just get it over with. What's their name? Where do they live? Send all your minions out to...
Oh, my God. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is right here. It's from Wesley Williams. He says, how about a statewide bet on first truck stuck every year, and half of the pot goes towards moving one or more of the boulders that are causing the issue.
Also, I was going to say, why don't we go up there with some shovels and pickaxes and stuff, and make this road a little wider? What the heck?
I mean, come on, Paul.
What's
You're
going
gonna
on?
need some dynamite to help you out.
All right. Well, let's get some dynamite. They got this stuff.
And maybe some plastics. But I'm just saying, isn't that an interesting concept?
Mm-hmm.
How about raise money, and instead of the winning amount going into somebody's pockets, go into a fund to give to whoever, XYZ Plastics Company, so they can go up there and blow the shit out of that.
Well, next time you see Bernie,
Oh, don't.
Talk to him about the expenses of the state and where some of the money's going that maybe could be redirected to making more functional roads. I don't know. I don't know what the state's budget is, but if it's anything similar to the United States federal budget, there are a lot of monies going out to things that
Right.
I don't think most of the people would agree to. If we had a truly democratic process where it was just majorities vote and we all got to vote on this stuff, not this representative stuff where you got people who are representatives for 50, 60 years and don't actually represent any human beings anymore except
Sure.
themselves, and the lobbies that pay them lots of money. If we had a system like actual democracy where people voted on things, I don't think a lot of us would vote for a lot of where the money goes.
Sure.
Some of these studies that they're doing in other countries, funding social science studies and stuff, sure, it's great information, but let's feed people and house people and repair the roads first. Open up Smuggler's Notch so all the smugglers can get through freely. I mean, come on, think about the smugglers. They can't get their smuggled goods.
There's a lot of
through.
shit that is hiding out in Smuggler's Notch right now. A lot of shit. I'm joking.
Let's go. Let's go get them.
There's a ton of booze. I mean, there's
Sure.
cases of booze that's hiding out in Smuggler's Notch. I'm going to read a comment here from Shelley
Please.
in a second, but
All right.
you know, I say this. Understand what Wesley's saying, okay? But what he's saying is now we're making this road more possible for trucks to get through, which you've been through. It's up and windy and very up.
I don't know that I've ever been through there.
Paul,
Sorry.
are you serious?
I think so.
I'm disappointed in you and Kathy. The two of you need to. Did I just call out your wife's name?
Yeah, you did.
Did I just say I was disappointed in Kathy?
Yeah, we're going to do this all over again.
God
Jeez.
damn it. Cut that out. You and Kathy need to get the kids.
By the end of this show, it's going to be 4 minutes long.
You need to get
Edit, click, cut. And then cut, and it over.
You need to get Kathy and all 11 kids.
Yep.
Get them in the car and go up to Smuggler's Notch.
And then we'll have the first truck that gets stuck.
You don't know.
Maybe.
But here's the thing. You know, now it's first of all, it's a very steep climb. It's very twisty. By taking a couple of boulders out to make it possible for a 53-foot trailer to get through there, are we then saying that it is allowable or permissible for trucks to pass through Smuggler's Notch?
It doesn't have to be. You can improve the quality of something to make it safer without inviting more. You know, like you can improve the road quality and say, hey, you can drive safely at 95 miles an hour now. We don't want you to, but you could.
Yeah.
You know, you can say the road's wide enough for a 53-foot trailer to come through, but you're not allowed.
But now
it's not safe still.
Right,
You know,
sure.
It's safer now. Less people get stuck.
Right.
But we still don't want you.
You're-
But is there an alternate route? And why are trucks all of a sudden
Well,
getting stuck
the
all the
alternate
time?
route is
Takes
route,
hours.
No, I mean it's Route 100 north out of Stowe, right through Morrisville, and then and then you pick up 15 left or right, and most of these trucks are going left towards Essex and Burlington.
So
But
it saves them some time.
Yeah, it saves them some time by But here's the thing: we have to understand and accept, and some of us haven't, is that it's not you can't always get from here to there.
Right.
In Vermont very easily because of our topography. A lot of these drivers are from out of state and they're using their GPS, and the GPS is putting them right on Smuggler's Notch.
All right, so this isn't a. I've seen this over the last couple of years. It seems like this has been happening a lot more frequently. And I see these articles and stuff, and I think, why are they driving on that road if they can't make it?
But there's
they don't know.
signs.
They don't know what they're getting into.
They don't know what they're getting into. But there's signs everywhere that say no trucks.
Oh, okay.
So are you believing the signs that say no trucks, or are you believing your GPS, which is saying go this way?
Well, there was this documentary. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was about it's like an American workplace called The Office, and so, I can't keep a straight face on it. I tried as best I could, and so this character Michael and Dwight, these two guys, they were in a car, and it was all about they're trying to increase the. Michael was fighting against the technology push by Ryan, and so they're driving, and he's got the GPS telling him to turn right, and Dwight says, "No, you not here. Up there. It means up there. This isn't a road." And Michael says, "It's a turn right." And he's doing whatever the computer tells him to do. And he turns and he pulls into a little lake. And he's like drives his car right into the water. He's trusting the GPS. So let that be a lesson
I
to you.
trusted my GPS one time and put my Honda Civic on a vast trail, and that didn't work. Ended up getting pulled out of there by what? Snowmobiles.
Yeah.
But I say this to Wesley, and I say this to everyone. Tell me what you think about this. Why don't we take the money raised in the Stowe Rotary on this raffle, betting when the first truck is going to get stuck, and use that money to put a few more boulders in.
Oh,
to make it even
more
harder.
boulders.
To make it even harder.
That's an interesting
Or
theory. Yeah.
or like an automatic thing where, hey, the computer, the robot senses that a truck is coming. Spike strips come up. I don't know.
Right?
Let's make it more difficult for a truck to get through.
Sure.
Shelley just says, let's put up a toll booth. And the truckers, she's saying it's not the trucker's fault. It's the dang GPS. Let's just work together and fix it. Come on now. Way too many times that I can count.
Yeah,
Use the money to put up a toll booth.
Right.
Or something, maybe not a toll booth that causes you to stop, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe just a thing that goes over the road that's like lit up flashing.
Yeah.
With lights, flashing lights saying no trucks. Let's make it with these signs that are on the side of the road. Obviously, they're not working.
Yeah.
Let's build a.
Well, you put one of those things over that says clearance and make it too short for the tractor trailers to get under. But I don't know if there might be box trucks that can get through that are the same height.
Yeah, but then you're going to rip off the top of the truck, and all of our Chinese shit is going to go flying everywhere. Paul, you don't want that. Come on, that was a bad idea.
That was a terrible idea.
Edit that out.
Worst one yet.
Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Chewing the fat.
Yep.
Having some fun with us.
Yep.
I appreciate it. We're going to give you just a quick dose of our community calendar, brought to you by the World, Central Vermont's favorite weekly newspaper, which is amazing. Every third Thursday of the month, My Family Gathering Place. They've got from 5 till 6:30, and I've got it right here. Mr. Z's does the free pizza, and it's open to the public over at 23 Summer Street. You can come in person. You can join in Zoom, and it's put on by Washington County Mental Health. All caregivers, parents, family members, everyone. Join us for different speakers and presentations on topics concerning all of us who care for kids and young adults. And the next one is, this coming Thursday. Social Security Disability, what are the options for my child, and how do I get started? This is a 30-minute presentation. There's a Q&A, and it's just great group conversation. Again, from 5 to 6:30, free pizza and care for your young children. Right there in the Snoozlin room, which will be staffed by Washington County Mental Health. If you'd like to come out Thursday, again, it is free, 5 to 6:30. Wellness Wednesday, of course, speaking of 23 Summer Street and Washington County Mental Health, that is tomorrow. Is the next one. This is going on for 6 weeks only, so don't wait on this if you haven't been. Licensed and certified service providers, please pre-register if you're going to get a massage or Reiki or sound healing or any of that at 229-1399, 229-1399. But it starts at 4 p.m. every Wednesday over at 23 Summer Street. The Tuesday night meal over at the American Legion, that's going on. It's dine-in. It's takeout. It starts at 5:30 tonight. They'll have bingo right after that at 6. If you would like to reserve so they know how much food to make, they would appreciate it. 479-9058 for the American Legion. Don't forget the Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce has their kayak raffle that is coming up on June 1st. Plenty of opportunities for you to get your kayak raffle ticket. You can get it at R&L Archery. You can get it online through the Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce, or you can just head over to their headquarters in Berlin and buy a ticket right there. Speaking of the Chamber, their second annual Chamber fundraising event, the Casino Night Roaring 20s theme, is on the way. It's coming up soon, April 29th from 6 to 10 at the Canadian Club. It is going to be an absolute blast. Be well. Take good care. And before I forget, and I did forget, but now I'm remembering, this coming Saturday over at Emsley's, they're inviting the public, the Stephen Tracy organization. Brandy Tracy, who is mom, and her amazing organization are getting together with Emsley's, and they're having a rock painting party for everyone. I like to say kids, but it's really for everyone. Come paint rocks, positive messages on the rocks. The kids get to take the rocks and hide them in the community with the hopes that people will not only find them, but re-hide them and keep spreading the message of love and hope and kindness. And that's going to do it. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Appreciate you, Paul.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll talk to you real soon, everyone. God bless. Take good care. We're live from Fly on the Wall Productions on North Main Street in Barrie. And thanks for subscribing and following the page. Take good care.